Hey everybody, welcome to part 2 of my Super Mario Brothers discussion. Hopefully all of you saw that video before viewing this one. In part 1 I talked about the history of Super Mario Brothers, kind of how we went from Donkey Kong all the way to Super Mario Brothers, all the way to a new form of Mario in Super Mario 64, and then all the way to the titles that we're used to today with Super Mario Galaxy and New Super Mario Brothers, and how Super Mario Sunshine back in 2002 introduced the water pack, and how some people kind of like me were kind of like, well, why not just make a traditional Mario game? And some others are like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a new, interesting gimmick to the Mario series. Um, but for part 2, guys, I really wanted to talk about kind of my personal opinion, since I really didn't get to talk a lot about that since I reached the 10-minute mark on my part 1 of this video. Um, so Super Mario Brothers 1, you guys, I actually did not get to experience this game until around the time where Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo came out, which was an opportunity for people in my generation around the 90s, where we got to revisit some of those earlier Mario Brothers titles in the form of better graphics, better colors, better sound. It was a collector's kind of like a collector's cartridge of the first 3 Mario Brothers titles and the time when we were introduced in America to Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. And there was also a special edition version of this game where you also got Super Mario World in the set as well. Um, so Super Mario Brothers, guys, I was, like I said, I was introduced to that through Super Mario All Stars, and I got to experience it with the new graphics and all that. So I was, at the time, it didn't seem like a big deal to me, but putting it into the perspective of Mario really didn't exist until we only had Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3 before that game, and before it was advanced through Nintendo for the Super Nintendo version. Um, I kind of went into it with that perspective after knowing that this was kind of the first huge Mario adventure title, next to Donkey Kong, of course. Well, they were both platformers, but Super Mario Brothers introduced the adventure part of Mario. Um, so I went into that with that perspective, and to this day, you guys, I just love the original Super Mario Brothers. It's so great. Um, it was the first game where we're kind of introduced to Bowser, and if you know what Bowser looks like today, you'll kind of be shocked by his appearance in this one, because he looked completely different back then. Um, so Super Mario Brothers 2, you guys, once again, I was introduced to that through Super Mario All Stars, and I later got to play it on, like the Virtual Console for the Wii, and I believe I got to play NES version at my friend's house at one point, um, where we were introduced to a completely different way of playing Mario in an adventure title. Um, Mario Brothers 2, it never really had an official place in my heart, but um, it was a fun new way to introduce Mario, so I thought that was kind of cool. Um, I remember really getting into Super Mario Brothers 2 around the time Super Mario Advance came out for the Game Boy Advance. I think just because they added so many additional features to it and everything else. I think that was really the only time I really got into that game. But Super Mario Brothers 3, if you saw Part 1, that is the game that's close to my heart. I mean, it was the first game I ever played, the first Mario game I ever played too. Um, it just has a special place in my heart. I just love all the suits in this one. I love the raccoon suit, and I love the frog suit and the boot suit, and all these suits that we really didn't get to see a lot of until just recently, where Nintendo really brought us back to this generation of Super Mario Brothers 3, like in New Super Mario. No, what was it? Super Mario Land 3D, I think it was called. Yeah, Super Mario 3D Land or something like that for the 3DS, the new one. Um, where we got to see the raccoon suit again, um, or the Tanuki suit, I think was what some people called it. Um, but yeah, it was a really fun game. I just love seeing all the Koopa kids and all these characters that we got to see. Probably didn't even get to see until around New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii. Super Mario World. Um, I got a Super Nintendo after NES, kind of like most people did. Um, and I actually got mine way after '91 because NES was um, my first system. Yeah, Super Mario World. I loved Yoshi. I loved I thought that Super Mario World kind of had a more interesting, not even so much a more interesting, but unique take on the whole Mario Brothers look. I thought the music was more unique. I thought the worlds looked more, they were different enough where you liked them enough because they were unique, but they're also kind of the same thing that you're used to from the previous three games. So that was kind of cool. Um, Super Mario 64, that game was huge. I was 6 years old when that came out. I just loved the just the whole different way of playing Mario. It was just really interesting to see how Nintendo was given all these things that us, the fans, were really looking forward to, and they gave it to us very interestingly. Um, I just love that like the ground pound was introduced around that time, and instead of just Mario shooting fireballs or getting a cape power or doing any of that, he actually had a punch and kick move this time around, so that was pretty cool. Um, and I just like the fact that it wasn't so much a game where you're like, okay, now you got to go to this level, now you got to go to this level, now you got to go play this level. I liked how you got to choose your levels in this one, or at least after you've earned some stars in that game. Rather than saying, well, rather than just playing World 1, you can go to World 2 and get these stars now, or you can go to World 3 and get these stars now. So I liked how Nintendo gave us that option for this game. Just a really interesting way to introduce Mario. Mario Sunshine, if you saw part one, I really was not huge on that title. Um, I guess the first half of the game really had a Mario 64 feeling, which was cool, but the water pack just kind of ruined it for me. I just really cannot get into it. They could have done so much more with that title, or something more revolutionary than just a water pack, which quite frankly we haven't even seen since Mario Sunshine. And if we have saw it in other games, it was in the form of like a mini game, like a Mario Party, or I think Mario Tennis had some Mario Sunshine mini games in it too. Um, Mario Power Tennis with the GameCube. It was just, I don't know. It really didn't do it for me. New Super Mario Brothers I did like for the DS. That was really fun. I liked how we have his Mario 64 combined with the original Super Mario Brothers, how it was side scrolling, and we got to see some characters that we didn't get to see in since the earlier titles of Mario, so that was really cool. Um, Mario Galaxy, I love that game. I just loved how if you liked Mario 64, you'll like it. If you like Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario 64, you'll like it even better because it has both elements combined into one for this ultimate Wii title. Mario Galaxy is pretty much what Mario Sunshine should have been. It was kind of Nintendo's apology game of what Mario Sunshine should have been. Um, so I really liked that. I remember playing that game all the time. It's probably to this day one of my favorite games of all time too. New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii was really fun. Um, I think it would have done just as well on the DS as they just called it New Super Mario Brothers 2. But it was great to have four people playing on the screen at once. It could get a bit annoying at times depending on who you played it with, but it was a fun time. Super Mario Galaxy 2 for the Wii. I liked it a lot. I loved Super Mario Galaxy 1, as you can tell. Um, I thought it was kind of difficult for a Mario game. I'm not saying because, maybe at the time I was just so kind of out of it, and I'm kind of still am out of like, old age and all that, but um, I don't know. It felt a little. If someone my age had a problem with it, I think someone younger than me would. So maybe they should have tamed down how difficult it was, because I thought Mario Galaxy 2 was way too difficult for a Mario game. They definitely need to tame it down a lot. But world-wise and gameplay-wise, it worked great. Um, and I do not own a 3DS yet, but based on what I know about Super Mario 3D Land, it looked great. I played a demo of it. What I played of it was fun. Um, it was a good game. So I'm hoping whatever Nintendo does in the future will be fun. I hope to have more great Mario titles in the future. Um, Mario Party was pretty fun for me. I liked the Mario Sport titles, at least most of them. I didn't play Sports Mix, the most recent one where they combine like basketball and dodgeball and all these sports in the one game. So I didn't really get to experience that one, but I liked like Mario Tennis, and I liked Mario Golf Toadstool Tour on up. I wasn't huge on Mario Golf 64. Um, Mario Kart games I loved. I loved Double Dash for the GameCube was really fun, especially the Wii one was fun too, especially if you played on Wi-Fi. like international gameplay online. Um, so Super Mario Brothers, guys, thank you once again if you watched part 1 and this one. Thank you again. Just wanted to talk about one of my favorite game series of all time, and I hope to see you all for my future videos.